How you doing out there, everybody? My name is Mike. I'm an amateur deep fried turkey chef, and I'm going to show you a very simple, easy to do recipe on how to create the most juicy Cajun deep fried turkey. Ingredients for this recipe are very simple. Basically, you just need a 12-pound turkey. You need some Louisiana injectable marinade. Cajun butter is one of my favorite flavors. The actual injector itself, and then some Tony Chachere's original Creole seasoning. The first step is to make sure you clean and wash the turkey out. So basically what I'm doing is I got, just running cold water on this thing. Now this thing has been thawing out for a few days in the refrigerator. It's real important, make sure you thaw it out inside the fridge. Don't just leave it out. Now we are gonna open this thing up because there are pieces inside here that you necessarily do not want to deep fry. Like, the neck, and there's another bag of goodies in here that we gotta get out. Yeah, just real, just basically we're just washing the turkey, cold water. The first thing that you do after you wash the turkey is you got to season the inside first. So here we've got this, open it up like this. I got my Tony Chachere's. And now the next step is the actual fun part of the whole process. We're going to inject the turkey. Okay, after thoroughly shaking up the marinade, you go ahead and stick in the injector. I always generally put the marinade in the breast first. So what you do is you put in the injector, the syringe, excuse me, and then as you pull it out, as you're pressing down the syringe. I'm gonna use this whole jar of marinade. And everybody who's had Cajun fried turkey knows that this is the juiciest, best tasting turkey. It's the only way to eat turkey. And do the leg again. You want to make sure you inject the breast, the legs, and the thighs. Those are the three main parts of the bird. You want to make sure you use all of this Cajun butter. So after you're done shooting up the bird with the Cajun injection, now it's time to sprinkle a little bit of Tony Chachere's on top. We're going to wrap it up, put it in the fridge overnight, and then tomorrow we're going to go ahead and deep fry this Cajun turkey. It's unbelievable, the time's finally arrived. It's time to cook the turkey. We get our official peanut oil here and we get ready to get down to business. Yeah, they pretty much have these turkey frying kits down to a science. It's pretty much, you can pretty much put this whole container of peanut oil in here. It's the perfect amount. Yeah, these Cajun deep fryer kits actually help you out. They have lines that show you what the maximum fill line is. And pretty much all of those 3-gallon containers of peanut oil that you can get at the store are the perfect amount. And one thing you gotta make sure you do too when you're playing with fire, make sure you got some gloves, be safe. A lot of people burn their hands or burn their skin because of something as simple as not wearing gloves. Plus, the most important thing you have to have with you, you gotta have a fire extinguisher. When you're cooking with oil, you can't use water to put out a potential fire. You've probably seen the videos on YouTube where people inadvertently put a frozen turkey into a fryer and cause an explosion or a really bad fire, and you don't want to turn your holiday or your family get-together into a nightmare. All right, we got our full propane tank. That's our master valve. This is our throttle. We'll talk more about that later. Hear the sweet sounds of gas. And we're gonna light that sucker off. All right, we got the oil. It's starting to heat up. It's gonna take about a half hour to 45 minutes, maybe even an hour to get the oil up to temperature. We gotta get up to 400 degrees when we start cooking the turkey, but while we're actually cooking it, we're gonna be cooking it at 350 degrees. I'll be riding the throttle here to keep that turkey cooking at a constant 350 degrees. It takes 3.5 minutes per pound to get that turkey cooked for you. Technology is a wonderful thing. Now they got these digital thermometers, so we're gonna be able to set a temperature alarm on this thing. We'll also be able to have a countdown timer so we can set it to the proper minutes and seconds for cooking this bird. And here's the thermometer that will periodically check the oil as we get closer to start cooking this bird. Surprisingly, already we're up to 138 degrees, 145 degrees, about 165 degrees. All right, our oil's just about there. We're gonna go ahead and put the turkey up here on the stand and get down to business. So there's a hole in the front of the turkey. So it's real important, make sure you put the gloves on. You gotta have the gloves on just in case something goes wrong. You don't wanna be doing this with no gloves on. Now it's real important, you gotta put this bird in really slow. You can hear it starting to, that's from a little bit of the water inside the injector seasoning. So slowly. All right, it's a little hot, so I'm gonna throttle it down just a little bit. We're at 392 right now, so gotta turn it down, guys, get it down to 350. Now it's real important, guys, when you're cooking these, you gotta make sure that you do not leave the turkey while it's frying. You wanna maintain that 350 degree temperature. You wanna make sure it doesn't shoot up to 400 degrees, because once it hits 400 degrees, that's when you start having problems. We'll end up with a burnt turkey, and nobody likes burnt turkey. Oh yeah, the time we've been waiting for. It's been cooking for about 42 minutes. What we're gonna do is we're gonna pull it out of the oil. We're gonna let it rest for a few minutes. Then we're gonna check the temperature. And you want the turkey, the internal temperature, to be 160, 165 is the temperature that you're shooting for. And after we let it rest for about 5 minutes, we're gonna go ahead and put it on a platter and go ahead and cut this thing up and have us some Cajun deep fried turkey.